try to do that. If they just win into the 2v2 against the Syndra Olaf, the Olaf just does way too much damage early on, and the Syndra just packs that CC to really snowball that 2v2.
Yeah, so maybe looking to play a little bit more aggressively as pick ban is going to start up here. And I do expect these bans to come thick and fast here. The Banditos will take off the Graves and the Pantheon, same as they did previously. Meanwhile, World Class Blank, Vladimir, Morgana. Again, I don't expect a lot of adaptation here early on in the draft, but the interesting thing will be how things adjust once Omega Gaming Banditos get to make that first pick. And like you said, the Syndra may be that contested pick.
Yeah, Syndra is certainly one of those picks that, I mean, is still just very powerful. Sure, got a bit of a nerf this patch in the fact that her mana cost on her orbs do cost 20 more at level 1. And while it does scale down, it's still going to hurt you early on in just being able to get easy wave priority. That said, you hit level 9, you're still the same champion after that breakpoint. You can just delete people with your R button and just say outplayed in the alt chat.
Yeah, and actually, okay, that was a no ban, but that will be a Volibear ban here. So Volibear is off the table here in this game. The Varus is going to round out the bans as well from Omega Gaming Banditos, and they will opt for the Olaf first pick up here. So like we were talking about, the aggressive early mid-jungle duo, it may be on the table here for the Banditos, unless World Class Blank want to early pick that Syndra.
Yeah, and I think World Class, they'll opt to just grab that Syndra for themselves here. They also have the option to pick the Philios again as well, so they grab the Philios first. Thresh also an option here. I think it's a very good option. So you get the scaling, and then you also get just a very well paired support in the Thresh for the Philios.
Yeah, and having that Lantern will give Navy Caboose a little bit more safety as well as that Olaf tries to run you down. Grab that Lantern, get yourself out of danger. But Caitlyn here will be secured for Civil, who has played this a decent amount, so finally getting that pressure bot lane pick. And I would not be surprised to see A-Hop grab that Zyra. It probably should have come out in game 1. We were talking about a little bit, but there is the potential to throw it out for game 2. You do have the plants, you do have the harass, and it does give them some magic damage. There's the hover. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets locked in, as A-Hop does favor this pick.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that they locked in the Caitlyn here. I would have thought that they would have gone for the Syndra Zyra combination and fall back on something like an Ashe or the Caitlyn in that second phase, or just look for the Ashe pick here instead of the Caitlyn, because of the fact that you have just such high harass potential with that combination. And then you also have the alt combinations. The Ashe alt extremely powerful with the Olaf as well, because it just allows him to run forward and catch people out, whereas the Caitlyn really feels like it needs to snowball here. So this is going to be a really big test for the team of Omega Gaming.
And we'll have to see how they execute on that bottom lane. As the second phase bans are coming through, World Class Blank, they take the Echo and the Galio off the table. Does make sense. They want to prevent that comp from being played again. The Echo, of course, makes a lot of sense against Slacking, who really does favor that pick. Meanwhile, Omega Gaming Banditos, they take off the Kindred, which I don't believe Trick has played it a couple of times throughout this throughout the regular season, so it does make sense. And the Trundle banned out as well. Now, World Class Blank, they do have the first pick coming out of this. Would expect to see their jungle pick and sit on that top laner for last.
They certainly could, but I think the Ornn pick, because it gets left open, is just a clear case to get locked in, especially with Omega Gaming banning away the Trundle. There's just no answer for this Ornn. So while Omega Gaming, they can play more of a win lane style with whatever they decide to lock in for top, it isn't going to stop the scaling power that again comes through on the side of World Class Blank with the Ornn, Aphelios, and the Syndra. They're going to just go ahead, handshake that matchup, give themselves a Maokai. So they add their own big hyper tank here, but what I'm seeing here is a little bit lack of a mid game because the Caitlyn does hit that mid game trough. The Olaf, if he doesn't get snowballed early, he's going to hit that mid game trough as well. And while the early game is there and sort of the late game is there, the mid game is very contingent on a lot of things rolling right for them.
Yeah, but Omega Gaming Banditos, they say they want the Ziggs pick here for Cool Crab in the mid lane, which does really reinforce this as sort of a siege comp, a sort of harass comp, as with the Zyra, the Ziggs, the Caitlyn. There is so many skill shots going to be coming at you in the mid game sieging potential, but World Class Blank, they say, hey, we see you guys don't want to fight us until you poke us down. We're going to lock in some more initiation, and they're going to pick up the Jarvan the Fourth here for Trick in the jungle.
Jarvan does get locked in and offers them some lockdown for these fairly immobile carries. Also allows them to play a little more aggressively during this lane phase as well, being able to gank with that Jarvan flag and drag. I am a little bit concerned about Jarvan and the fact that he's going to be engaging these mid-late game fights against the Zyra Maokai, which is incredibly annoying to deal with as a Jarvan and pretty much guarantees that you will die every single time. But again, the damage could just be non-existent for this Omega Gaming roster in that mid-game that the Jarvan is more than comfortable in jumping in.
Yeah, but I do think we have to give Omega Gaming Banditos a little bit of credit here, as they have drafted slightly more for the early game. That was a criticism we had of their previous draft, that it just was going to take so long to scale, and even when you did scale, it was just the Ezreal dealing damage. This time around, you have the Olaf to try and give you some early game pressure. Caitlyn Zyra, of course, is a really great harass lane. Even if your Ziggs and your Maokai aren't going to necessarily win lane, you can equalize it, and that gives them a good amount of ability to maybe win the early game against World Class Blank and not give up another 25-minute loss.
Yeah, and I think this game for Omega Gaming, if the Olaf doesn't really snowball ahead, it really just comes down to the Zyra pick, getting really comfortable through this lane phase, hitting her Liandry's as fast as possible. And with the Liandry's, you do have a pretty strong mid-game in the fact that if Jarvan jumps in, he should get deleted by the Zyra plants in the ultimate. However, Ornn should be rushing magic resistance this game, given the fact that he is into a Maokai. So Ornn will be fairly difficult to kill in the mid game because you are running somewhat triple magic damage in the Zyra Maokai Ziggs.
Yeah, so a very comfortable pick here for Ornn, and I think fairly easy itemization to sort of extend on that point here. But to kind of go back to a previous point here, you mentioned for Omega Gaming Banditos, they wanted to go back and play some comfort picks. They wanted to play things that they knew how to play in order to bring this back, and I think they've done that so far. Slacking has played a ton of Olaf. Cool Crab has at least one game on Ziggs, so is no stranger to that pick. Sybil, ton of games on Caitlyn. A-Hop, ton of games on Zyra. They basically took exactly what you said, Nightstar, and they went with it for this draft.
Yeah, and in that regard, I do like the fact that they went, okay, well, maybe it's not the optimal OP composition, but for us, this is the these are champions that we do like to run. So with that additional comfort, I do expect to see a much better performance in this game number 2.
Yeah, so maybe looking for the comfort that'll help even them out, especially after that game 1 loss here. And now again, obviously we've seen a lot versus Jarvan the Fourth lanes previously in LCS, but I do want to talk about that a little bit here because Trick, again, is going to have to play the same role that the Trundle did in the previous game, which is stopping the Olaf from running away with the game. And how effective is Jarvan at doing that, knowing that Slacking is on his Olaf?
Well, he does have pretty good setup in the fact that he has an Orange Syndra and a Philios Thresh. So there is gank possibilities in every single lane here. So he does uh, have a somewhat easy time in trying to find kills. Now, is he going to enjoy going in the 1v1 matchup into Olaf? By any means, no. He definitely does not win that 1v1. And uh, but if you factor in what lanes he's going to be bringing in, beyond that top lane, the top lane 2v2, he should be winning pretty much every other matchup. The Philios Thresh will outdo the Caitlyn Zyra in certain cases. And I think the bot lane matchup really comes down to items on the Philios versus the Caitlyn. But certainly in this mid lane matchup, the Syndra is going to hit harder a lot faster than the Ziggs.
Yeah, and that might be the key to success here. Now, it's not a global, or not a true global, I should say, but Cool Crab, he does have that Mega Inferno Bomb to clear side lane waves and to contribute, whereas Alex Carino does not. So a little bit more of that pressure going to be given back to Omega Gaming Banditos. In general, I got to ask before we hit the delay, who are you going to take in this game to win it, knowing that these teams have kind of been swapped around and Omega Gaming Banditos looking a little bit better?
I still have to favor the side of World Class Blank because they, again, get the Orange Syndra Philios. 3 champions that they ran in the previous game and really ran away with as well. They get all 3 of those champions. They're feeling very comfortable here. But I do have to show some love to Zyra because she is my favorite champion. So while I think World Class Blank will win the game, I have eyes on Zyra.
Want World Class Blank to win, but want the Zyra to win as well. I love it. We are going to be hopping into our spectator delay before too long, but before we go, we want to talk to you a little bit about Kono. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. They've been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pools. If you need to find a new keyboard, check out the Hexgears X1 RGB low-profile Bluetooth mechanical keyboard. You can use the discount code UpsurgeGG for 7% off your first order. For more information, head over to Kono.store to check out all they have to offer. That's KONO.store. Kono, discover amazing products. And while you're shopping, we'll be in a spectator delay, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have Omega Gaming Bandito versus World Class Blank. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Caitlyn Zyra that does want to have a lot of attention given to it. And on the flip side, the Jarvan, well, he just wants to limit the gank power of the Olaf as much as possible.
Yeah, actually, we see a bit of an interesting start here. This will be a Trick starting on the top side, taking away his red buff, but Slacking will start on the blue buff here. So a potential steal away. Trick, I would expect to try and run immediately for the red side, but he doesn't actually know it was taken. So he's going to walk towards the bottom side, realize that there's no buff camp here, and that's a pretty early advantage gain for Slacking.
And it's a little bit of an interesting play coming out here, although it looks like they're going to get trying to get bot lane priority and then collapse. Oh, wait.
Yeah, here we go. Blue Caboose is in, and Trick is going to flash forward for the play, but he is flashed away from Civil, so an attempt to be the opposite side of the map, and that's going to go awry, which means Slacking gets to take the blue, he gets to take the Gromp, and he gets to go back to farm his whole jungle.
Yeah, and this is actually a huge play in the grand scheme of things because of the fact that now Trick, he doesn't get to vertical jungle even though he had full knowledge because of the fact that Alex Carino did put a ward over that blue buff wall to get knowledge that they were starting the blue buff, and now he is just going to be slowed down quite a bit. He could have hand shook the vertical jungling, play topside, try and get a early kill onto this Maokai, which definitely can happen early on with how much damage that a Jarvan has, at least level 2 and 3, but instead they try and go for a Hail Mary play in the bottom lane. So all things considered, a good start for the side of Omega Gaming.
Yeah, Omega Gaming, they are able to take that, and we gave Omega Gaming Banditos a little bit of crap in the previous game for being a little too clever with their draft. This time around, though, it's Trick who's being a little too clever for his own good, saying, oh, well, you're going to take my blue, you'll expect vertical jungles, you'll never expect me to walk bot lane at level 2. But the Thresh has no flay, the Aphelios has no crowd control, so at the end of the day, it's just a flash for a flash, and he is going to be at a severe disadvantage. So Trick looking to maybe try and get some of this back if he can find a crab, if he can find a couple of camps to steal away.
Yeah, and now it's just about tracking where they are going to be looking for their follow-up plays. Trick actually with the blue buff available, so Slacking allows Trick to still get all his camps he wants. He clears out his bottom side and he doesn't go and try and put attention top side. So the big mistake that happens doesn't actually yield a huge punish for Slacking.
Yeah, so Slacking may be figuring, oh, well, it's already gone, right? Does it actually go to take that camp? So Trick, not as punished, so everything we just talked about, ignore that, put it out of your mind, because Trick is definitely back in this game now that he secured that blue buff. So definitely going to be looking for Slacking, though he's pathed back to the bottom side of the map. They might be looking to go for this early Drake, the same thing that World Class Blank did in the previous game. Hold that thought, A-Hop under tower, he takes a bunch of damage, but we'll be able to walk out.
Yeah, and nice mechanical play from A-Hop in the fact that he didn't auto attack, which is kind of weird to say, but because of that he is able to just walk away from the tower without proccing the turret aggro. Otherwise definitely would have needed to flash there, and that's going to allow them to continue to pressure this bottom lane, which they are going to have to do as much as they possibly can here.
Yeah, trying to plink away at those plates. They've already broken one, so we'll have a bit of a gold lead here. Trick gonna get spotted
Also
up in the river, slacking with the level advantage, but of course flag and drag straight to safety. But the Infernal Drake is here, and Civil and Ahop have shoved in, so might be able to look to try and get this early up, as it's an Infernal Drake early again.
And early Inferno will help both of these teams, because on one hand you have Syndra Aphelios, and on the flip side you've got Syndra, Caitlyn, and Ziggs. So the damage dealers definitely aplenty in this game, and they would love to have themselves that extra 5% of damage.
Yeah, every team, of course, saying, yeah, just give me damage. We want damage. We'll take damage. But also we have Trick, who looks like he is going to start up the Drake here as the recalls are channeled from World-Class Banditos bot lane. Ultimate is actually used here from the Ziggs. He's going to take some damage. Cool Crab, though, should be able to walk himself out to safety. He takes some unleashed power from Alex Carino and gets out with just a sliver. So Ultimate's traded back and forth. The Drake is going to be started up. And actually here, we have a lane swap.
It looks like we're going to get early lane swap coming in here, knowing that it is going to be Rift Herald coming up in a minute. So that is something you really want to get as this team from the side of Omega Gaming, because you need to just funnel in as much gold as you can into this Caitlyn, into this Zyra, to make sure that they hit this mid game in a very comfortable position. And well,
yeah, little bit of a harass here from Ahop and Slacking, who are both on the top side, but they won't get much for it but damage. But this tower's under siege. There should be a plate falling on the top side. I believe a plate is going to go down to Blood King in the bottom lane as well. So far this early game macro has been solidly in Omega Gaming Banditos' hands.
Yeah, and I'm actually really impressed by this early rotation coming out from this team. Also, credit goes to World Class and the fact that they were actually able to match it without just being at a loss of what to do. But this Rift Herald will certainly be very important to watch, as Slacking is still around in this top side. So if they're able to secure it, that's more gold into the hands of this Zyra pick, more gold into the hands of this Caitlyn pick, and also importantly, less plate gold funneled into this Aphelios.
Exactly. Now, important to note, though, Blood King has used his teleport and Ezregus has not, which does mean that if there is a fight on the top side of the map, Ezregus will be able to join and Blood King can't without having to roam all the way up. So I would expect this Herald to be started up shortly, though. Trick still at a lower level, though, from Slacking, so unlikely to be able to contest successfully, but it is started here. Have to see if Omega Gaming Bandito can secure it. Looks like there will not be a fight. It's actually Ezregus here. He's going all in. He is going to get rooted up, though, so just kind of headbutts awkwardly at Blood King and is forced to walk away in shame. Attempt to make the big play, stuff, and Herald does go down.
Yeah, and it's
Oh, actually, here we go. Trick in the mid lane here. Oh, Stun is going to miss on a Cool Crab, though. Alex Carino, though, he walks all the way in the tower and flashes in, but he takes first blood regardless. Unleashed power takes the Ziggs down. Very nicely done, and so World-Class Blank, they still get something even after giving up that Herald.
Yeah, they still get that first blood here. That's going to feel really good for them. And for Cool Crab, he dodges out the stun, but he just walks in range a little bit too much, eats an extra orb, and that's all the damage that Alex Carino needs on Zyra.
Oh, actually, flash forward here onto Ahop, who walks through the box. Oh, he's going to take a ton of damage. Blue Caboose, though, is burning down. He burns down. Now Ahop is falling on the backside here. It's just Aphelios versus Caitlyn, who actually wins this. Navy Caboose, he jukes, but this is going to be the ultimate coming through. He's trying to sustain up a little bit. The minions are giving line of sight. Civil may not have enough. There it is. Caboose walks back in, and he goes down. That's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Omega Gaming Banditos. A little aggressive there from the Cabooses.
Yeah, but a big win for this dual lane from the side of Omega Gaming, and the fact that they are able to get these kills. That's more gold into that Zyra, more gold into that Caitlyn.
Oh, hold that thought. Here we go. Bot lane. Trick has found Blood King, who's going to try and knock back Ezregas and forced to flash at the end of the day. Nothing going, but there were some summoner spells expended there. Ezregas should be able to back away.
Yeah, Blood King in a fairly comfortable position. I kind of expect him to go for a magic resist item now that he has this Balmy Cinder. But it does look like he wants to complete the Sunfire Cave, which I'm not sure how I feel about Helmite because of the fact that he's into a magic damage lane, and he's also going to be dealing with more of this Syndra pick in the mid game than the Philios. Oh my god.
No, ultimate is actually expended underneath the tower. They are going to be able to take this, pulling them away. Actually, here we go. Ezregas has teleported down. He's on the backside. He's going to get the stun up. Sybil's going to take some damage after flashing. He should be able to go down here. Trick has now joined the fight. Blood King teleporting in as well. But here comes Alex Carino. The ultimate is on the backside. Ezregas has gone down. Ahop is going to get picked up by Alex Carino, but they can't continue the fight. An excellent peel back here from Omega Gaming Banditos, and they should have clearance to go for this next Drake.
Actually, a really great fight from Omega Gaming. Again, they get another kill onto this Caitlyn. Yes, the Zyra goes down, but Zyra is such an easy champion to execute in these team fights. As long as she gets to get that ultimate down and a couple of plants, that's more than enough team fight impact that you're going to get from Zyra. That's pretty much job done. It's like old Annie support, where your sole purpose is to get a 3-man ultimate stun. Beyond that, no one cares.
Root lands on Alex Carino here a little bit. Taking some damage. This is going to be the ultimate channeled, but he survives with the sliver of health. Alex Carino makes it, but we're already seeing how much damage that Caitlyn is doing.
Yeah, and she's going to be able to get more turret plates here in this mid lane as well. They're going to be able to claim one, maybe even a second. But if we look up and down the gold charts, the big difference is just as far as the side of Omega Gaming goes, it's this Zyra. The Zyra is 1,000 gold ahead of the Thresh. Sure, the Thresh doesn't really care about the money, but the Zyra definitely does. And with Zyra at the spot she is, she's getting pretty close to that Leandries. Once she hits that power spike, these team fights around the dragon and Rift Herald area are going to be incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, already going to be doing quite well. And speaking of Drake, the setup is actually coming through here for both of these teams. This will be World Class Blank pushing in onto the pit to try and clear out some vision and maybe set this up. No top laner will be available for this, and if that's the case here, Nightstar, who's actually going to win the fight? Hold that thought. Here we go. Ultimate play again. Ezregas, he gets the knock up this time, but he is rooted by the vines. He actually flashes forward, is going to be able to get the Volcanic Rupture slow. He deals some more damage to Blood King, but he can't take it at the end of the day. This is going to be the pullback to Olaf is forced to go Ragnarok in order to get away, but he gets Cataclysm. Now the ultimate comes through from the Aphelios. They pick up 2 kills on the backside. Mega Inferno Bomb finds nothing. World Class Blank put on a world class showing in that fight. They pick up the second Drake of the game.
And yeah, that's going to be the second dragon for the side of World Class, and that's just it's not what you want. And with Ocean Rift going to be the soul for this game, both of these teams do pack quite a bit of consistent damage, so would love to have Ocean Soul. And now it really just comes down to what these team fights end up playing out. Yes, the team fight still is powerful on the side of Omega Gaming, so you're not hurting too badly with the fact that you lost these 2 dragons, but those 2 dragons are stat drakes, and this next, or getting 4-stack Ocean Soul, well, I mean, Ocean Soul is brilliant, but the Ocean Dragon itself, not as brilliant.
Not quite. Now the attention is going to be rotated here to the top side. The second Herald is going to be taken down now by Omega Gaming Bandito, so attempting to trade objectives for objectives. And if you're World Class Blank here, this game looks so very familiar. You have a lot of the same champions.
Yeah.
You even have the same Rift. But at the end of the day, the gold lead is so much closer in Game 2 here than it was in Game 1. Omega Gaming Banditos looking to be in fine form here to try and scale this one out.
Yeah, the scaling is pretty good on the side of Omega Gaming. And for World Class, it really just comes down to Alex Carino. He's 4-0. He has the Ludens completed. Once again, just really adapting nicely with his build. And what he's going to be hunting for is just going to be the Zyra for the most part. If they kill Zyra before the team fight happens, that's already team fight won, because that's just so much of their mid-game damage in their disengage. Without that, they just have no way of getting out of situations.
Speaking of Zyra, Ezregas caught up on the top side. Ahop was there. He's going to try and turn the damage back around onto Ahop. He pops the ultimate, but shouldn't be anything he can do. So that's going to be the Ornn down, his ultimate down. And now Omega Gaming Banditos, they should be able to shove up knowing they have the pressure. Slacking still sitting on that Herald. Might try to use it to breach mid.
That'll be the next big question as far as where they put the Rift Herald. Most likely they'll try and wait as long as possible before...
Bit of damage burn on the bottom side, but it won't be a kill again from Alex Carino. In fact, still sitting on that ultimate. Now, Ezregas has respawned as the siege comes through. They are going to trade the ultimate on the top side. Alex Carino actually he goes all in and gets the kill. This Herald is summoned up. Ezregas is teleported in. He's getting some damage down to the Slacking, who is running for his life. The Volcanic Rupture actually preventing Ezregas from really being able to get further onto him. And Herald is killed without being able to get, I think, any tower damage done. So, damage contained here from World Class Blank.
Yeah, but a huge play coming out from Alex Carino to get that kill now. Cool Crab also forced to use his flash, so he has just no way of getting out of any sticky situation when that next team fight comes around. So extremely vulnerable to the Ornn and the Jarvan ultimates.
Yeah, we'll have to be quite scared in any next team fight. Of course, does have the W just in case. But World Class Blank, you know, haven't talked about them as much because a lot of this has been Omega Gaming Banditos. They've really had a much better game this time around. But World Class Blank, they haven't really given up that much, given how the laning phase and how the rest of the way this early game is shaped up hasn't really been favoring them the same way it did in Game 1.
Yeah, they haven't just been able to snowball this game out of control like they were able to in game number 1. So already, if you are the side of Omega Gaming, you're feeling very comfortable because you've been able to hit some of your target items. The only concern at the moment really just is this Ziggs and the fact that, well, Ziggs just cannot match up against this Syndra. And yes, Ziggs can still have pretty good effectiveness because you are able to throw damage out from very long range. But Syndra's just so powerful. If she even sees or sniffs that Ziggs, he's just gone.
Yeah, now Cool Crab, speaking of the Ziggs, is in the bottom lane. He's trying to hold onto this tower that dies if a minion looks sideways at it. And Ezregas is going to get caught out. He's bullied away from the pit. Actually, the Drake has already been started, though. And here comes the Maokai ultimate into the Ornn ultimate. They're trying to interrupt things. Slacking is finally going to try and look for it. But here comes the ult onto Trick, who survives barely, but he is in no ability to go for this Drake fight. Blood King on the front line here. He does get on a Navy Caboose, who's forced to burn his flash in order to escape. Blue Caboose and Alex Carino looking to end this fight here.
Oh my God.
Over the side with the stopwatch. This is going to be blue team picking up the Drake here, but they are not able to take this fight. Here comes Slacking. He's flashing on the front side. Blue Caboose is going to be able to take the kill on Ahop. A double kill now for Alex Carino picking up Slacking. All of a sudden, Cool Crab is the only survivor on Banditos. They're able to take the Drake, but at what cost?
Yeah, they're able to secure Dragon, but they lose pretty much everyone, and it's not a great look because that fight was somewhat promising. They were able to get a lot of chip damage down onto the targets onto the players of World Class Blank, but then their attention just got split. You saw Blood King, he went forward onto the Philios, whereas everyone else, they peeled back towards Ezregus on this Ornn. They were trying to finish off the Ornn, but the moment Maokai jumped in, they immediately had to change their plans, but they were too far away to actually be able to finish off Navy Caboose. And as a result, they end up getting everyone low, but unable to finish any of those kills.
Yeah, it was World Class Blank playing around the low health bars very well. AM Trick flashed out of that fight with about 20 health to spare and went all the way back in with Cataclysm to help secure that. Now, this is going to be some towers traded around the map. The bottom and mid lane towers for Omega Gaming Banditos did go down, but World Class Blank will give up their bottom lane tower and their mid lane tower here as well. So, trading back across the map here, but a 2,000 gold lead now exists for World Class Blank.
Yeah, 2,000 gold lead exists for World Class Blank, but a 3.6k gold lead exists for Alex Carino. And not to mention, I'd like to point out, he has 22 stacks onto a Medjay as well.
Yeah, gonna be putting down a lot of damage with that. That's exactly what you hate to see in solo queue is you're like, okay, who fed the Syndra? Why is she pressing R on me and my health bar disappears?
Yeah, and now, like, the core 3 members here, the Ziggs, Caitlyn, Zyra, they just cannot come even remotely close to this Syndra, or they're just dead, as we might get to see.
Yeah,
Good disengage.
Yeah, good satchel from Cool Crab keeps him safe from the ravages of Alex Carino. And I do want to mention here as well, 22 minutes into the game, it wasn't relevant in the last game due to just how far ahead World Class Blank were, but we do have Baron alive on the map here, 22 minutes in, and I think both these teams have to be looking as actually Siddle, he gets hit by the Hulk and forced to flash away here, so keeps his life, but loses that all-important summoner spell.
Another flash gone means another target for this Syndra. That pretty much is going to be the storyline here. Syndra also almost level 16, so about to hit the peak of her powers. She is... Wait.
Oh, speaking of the peak of her powers, goodbye, Cool Crab. One stun and he goes down. Feels bad, and that does also give World Class Blank maybe the opportunity to set up for this Baron.
Yeah, this Syndra is so strong! Level 15, more than 2 levels ahead of anyone else in the game. That is just an absurd lead gathered by this Syndra pick. And
oh, actually, hold that thought. We're on the backside here. Stiddle actually already used his dash, so he is going to get locked up into Cataclysm. He's going to get knocked up by the Ornn, but he is still alive, trying to kite backwards. The Ignite finally takes him down, and meanwhile, the fight is going front to back here for World Class Blank. They are going to get the kill under the Jarvan, but the fight is going to get disengaged. A-Hop over the side. Alex Carino actually flashing forward. He is not going to quite take the kill yet. There it goes. Electrocute comes through. He goes legendary. That's going to be 2 for 1 here in favor of World Class Blank. They did lose their jungler, so no Baron, but they might be able to look at the mid lane. Cool Crab is there to clear it out.
yeah, so the one benefit of this composition, even though they are this far behind, 3,000 gold behind to be exact, is the fact that they have Cool Crab on the Ziggs. And Ziggs does Ziggs things and should be able to stall out the game relatively well if he's still alive. Of course, when Alex Carino gets his ultimate, that's always in jeopardy. But when Syndra doesn't have ultimate, should be very safe to just be able to wave clear. However, third dragon should just go in favor of World Class Blank, and we should be looking at
yeah, they will be able to pull it out here. So this is going to be the smite down now. This is going to be a hook landing on a Blood King, who is not who you really want to grab. A-Hop is going to take a stun on the backside here, and he will survive. There's going to be Nature's Grasp used from Blood King to successfully disengage. They will try to take the mid lane priority here, but that third Drake did go the way of World Class Blank here, and now they're sitting on Soul Point. As Omega Gaming Banditos, they try to shove up this mid lane.
I thought for a moment there that the side of Omega Gaming were going to be looking for that roam
Oh,
over
hold
to
that
the
thought. Blue
Baron.
Caboose in a bad spot, forced to flash away.
Whoa.
Teleport now channeled here from Ezreal. This is going to be Cataclysm from Trick. He's locked up Blood King, who again isn't really what you want. Ezreal though gets the knockout on the backside here, and Alex goes legendary. He kills the Caitlyn, and now Navy Caboose has picked up Blood King. A great Zyra ult is going to prevent the team from following, but Ahop is on a run for his life. Slacking is chunked out. Baron has to be in the eyes of world-class blank here. They'll clean out the vision. They will go for the start here. That looked like Caboose was in a bad spot, but the rest of his team said, no, we got you, homie.
Yeah, it really just comes down from a great teleport from both of these solo laners being in position. And I mean, with just how strong Alex Carino is, it's just I don't know what to say, Hellmite.
I can tell you what to say here. Look at both the mid laners. On one hand, you have a no stack Darkseal. On the other hand, you have a 25 stack Magi Soul Stealer. That tells you, I think, about all we need to know about Alex Carino versus Cool Crab this time around.
Yeah, and instead of going something like the Death Cap, which he definitely could go for, instead he opts for the Banshee's Veil. So not only does he understand that he's more than strong enough to just annihilate everyone on the side of Omega Gaming, he decides to just get defensive itemization to just make it even harder to just target him out and claim that 1,000 gold bounty.
Yeah, keeping those stacks intact, keeping the bounty intact, as the team will start up the 4-1 split push here. Trick is going to get some damage down to Slacking, but takes about as much as he deals. The rest of the team will be rotating around, but I doubt they'll find much. Ahop takes a big chunk. That Syndra is scary. And the rest of the team will be looking to try and collapse on the bot side here. This is the Ornn rotating up, and world-class blank, they smell blood in the water right now.
Oh yeah, you better believe that they smell blood here, as Ahop is going to...
Never mind, what were you saying about Ahop? He goes down. This is going to be Cataclysm, the Blood King. Alex Carino, he's trying to get focused down, but he does not go down. A 3-man route now from Aphelios. Navy Caboose, he's flashing the wall. He's going for Civil. He takes that kill. Meanwhile, you have Ezreal picking up Cool Crab on the backside. Blood King is the only one running for his life. He goes down. The box gets used as an afterthought from Blue Caboose. They go to grab the wave, and Nightstar, I think it's safe to say this game is over.
Yeah. That is incredibly safe to say, because the Death Timers are, while not super long, since the Zyra will be up and along with the Olaf, but the fact of the matter is they just don't have the ability to stop this push. So that's going to be a 2-0 upper bracket victory here. Yeah, congratulations.
World-class blank. 3 minutes later than their previous win, they are going to be able to shut out Omega Gaming Banditos. They will steal the victory from the Banditos, and they will move on here in bracket. That was a beautiful first match.
Yeah, a beautiful first playoff series on the stream, and I think we all know who the man of the match was for that game.
Yeah, ordinarily, I would ask you for an MVP, but I don't think we need to discuss it this time around. Alex Carino, huge showing in both these games on the Syndra. Huge damage in that second game, especially in putting the rest of the team on his shoulders. Very nicely done. And that is actually going to be it for us tonight, guys. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. So from myself, Joe Helmai Silva, and my co-caster tonight, of course, Frank Nightstar Peng, thank you all for tuning in. We are going to be back streaming again on Tuesday with the UPL, Maryville Esports versus Mirage Esports. Same place, same time, so don't forget to tune into that. Once again, thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see y'all later.